Hey, dog mums and dog dads, welcome back to another episode of The Natural Dog Mum. Today we're having a chat with the lovely Emma. She's from a company called Kindred CBD. We're going to be doing a little bit of a deep dive into, well, obviously, CBD, covering some of the basics, what it is, how it works in the body, what it can be used for. There is a lot of talk online and in the media about CBD for humans as well as animals. I'm sure you've seen and heard it many times, but we thought it would be helpful to give you a little bit more information about how it may help your pet with any number of conditions, and how you can go about safely sourcing it in Australia, because there are rules and regs, as some of you may or may not know. So we're going to be talking about that, as well as some of the other natural goodies that Kindred has available for doggies and cats. So stick around. Hey, thanks for coming on. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Hi, Sherry. Thanks so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Very, very excited to get into this topic. As I mentioned, I mean, there's information everywhere. A lot of people talk about it, but I'm sure there are lots and lots of pet parents out there who might be familiar with the term and maybe have a basic understanding, but don't quite understand how it works, why it's so beneficial. I mean, most people know that it's good for things like managing pain, and those sorts of things, but it can be a really, really useful tool in all manner of health conditions, anxiety as well.
hmm Yeah, for sure. So it helps bring the body back to homeostasis or back into a balanced state. And it works on the endocannabinoid system, which is a system found in all mammals, and there's receptors all throughout the body. So it has so many different effects, but especially on the nervous system and the immune system, as it's found in a lot of those cells. But it works for pain and it works for inflammation. So in conditions like arthritis, but also in inflammatory skin conditions. It helps with seizures in cases of epilepsy. Also, it works as an anti-anxiety, and yeah, just for a whole array of different health conditions.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing stuff. Now,
Yeah.
Kindred is a relatively new brand in Australia, though I understand that you've actually been supplying CBD for a little bit longer than perhaps you've had the supplements and the other products. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So we launched in March of this year, and have been supplying the CBD since earlier then. And then we launched the supplements just last month, and then the dog treats in about July, and the cat treats are coming this week. So it's been staggered, but yeah, we're new to the Australian market.
You've had a very busy year. That is a lot.
All systems go. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how did you come to be a part of the Kindred team?
Yeah, so it started about a year ago. So our parent company is MediGrowth, which is a human medicinal cannabis company. And I was working in the veterinary cannabis space with about a year and a half at that stage. And then MediGrowth decided to set up the veterinary division. And I had this really clear vision of what I wanted it to look like, the whole to be more than veterinary cannabis, but a whole wellness company. So we also have the treats and the supplements. Um, and yeah, we saw the amazing power of CBD's effects in humans with MediGrowth, and then just wanted to give that to pets. So then Kindred was born.
Brilliant. And you have a scientific background, don't you?
Yeah, so I'm a qualified pharmacist. So qualified in Ireland, was working there for about 7 years in community before moving here to Sydney. And then have been in the veterinary cannabis space now about 3 years. And actually completed a veterinary cannabis guide certificate this year, with the global experts who are over in Colorado and Canada. It's Dr. Casara Andre. Yeah, she's amazing. So yeah, I've been learning loads. Yeah.
Amazing. So,
Mm.
talk to us a little bit more for the uninitiated. Um, CBD in Australia is not something that you can just log on and purchase from a website or buy over the counter. It's prescription only, yes?
Yes, exactly. So the vets can prescribe it as an unlicensed Schedule 4 medication. So legally, it has to be prescribed by a vet. And then we provide a pathway for vets to do that. So we have a whole clinical portal for vets with prescribing guidelines that's regularly updated as more research comes out. We have a whole research paper library there with over 100 papers on the use of medicinal cannabis in various species. And we're going to have case studies and webinars and lots more things to share with vets as time moves on. And then the vets can submit the prescriptions to us. Our pharmacy then fulfills the scripts and then we get it sent out to the pet parent. And then the pet parents can submit inquiries to us through the website. And then we'll get in touch with their vet, invite them to register for the clinical portal, what we call the Vet Hub. And it's free, of course, for the vets to register and to access all that information. And we're all about just keeping it simple for the vets and just making it as simple and straightforward for them as possible.
That's amazing. So, it's more than just being able to access the CBD to help their patient. It's a full educational system um, to teach more vets about the benefits and how it works. The clinical studies, all of the evidence is there, meaning that if a pet parent wants to look into it as a potential treatment for their animal, and their vet is not familiar with CBD or isn't prescribing it, rather than finding another vet, they can actually then refer their vet to you um, to receive that education and everything they need to be able to prescribe.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if the vet has any questions, around prescribing, I'm really happy to help. So 3 years experience in it at this stage, and I've seen all the changes, and there's been so much research that has even come out in the last 3 years. So like I recognize it's hard to keep up to date. If you're a very busy vet, a lot of them are very time poor. They've so much on their
Of
hands. So what we do is just try to condense down all the research that's out there and just give it to them in a way that's easy for them just to see the key points and to be able to prescribe in a safe and effective way.
amazing.
Mm.
Now, some pet parents out there may have noticed, I know that I have, and I'm not going to name names, but there are some websites out and about that do sell CBD products or what they claim to be CBD. Whether it is or it isn't, it's a little bit hard to tell.
Mm.
For people who don't understand about how it works, about the importance of prescribing to, in fact, get the right dosage for your pet. Um, why is it important that people actually go through their vet and obtain it by prescription rather than just purchasing online?
Yeah, so I guess those online products, what we call the black market products, they haven't undergone any quality assurance testing. So you don't actually know what you're getting. So there could be, say, high amounts of THC, which is the part that can make you high. There could be lots of that, and there could be low amounts of CBD, which is the one that's mostly used for therapeutic effects. And then also there can be like residual solvents if solvents were used in the extraction method, and they're toxic to pets. There can even be pesticides and other toxins that are found in the mixture. So you don't really know what you're getting if you're just buying it online, and there can be a lot of misinformation and kind of false advertising around it, and it does make it very difficult for pet owners to determine, is that a safe product, is it not? But the simple way to know is if it's not being prescribed, then it's not being quality tested. So the safest way is to get something through your vet that you can stand over, and a pharmacist has prepared it, so you know exactly what's going into it. You can see a certificate of analysis. You can see the breakdown of the ingredients, so it's safe for your pet.
Absolutely. And from what I understand, in prescribing CBD for patients, it's a little different to your standard prescription, where you're just asking for a particular drug or a particular compound in milligrams, etc. There are different strengths that you're actually making up specific to the animal's needs. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tailored to each pet. So it's a compounded medication. And then the vet will determine the best dose depending on their weight and the severity of the condition, and other medications that they might be on. There's lots of factors they'll take into account. Normally they're started on a low dose, and then it's increased really slowly over time. And that will minimize any side effects, but it's generally really well tolerated anyways. But it comes as an oil formulation. And then you'll usually give roundabouts a mil, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, usually twice a day. So it's mixed into their food. So it's quite easy to administer. And it even comes with different flavorings as well. So for the
Oh, really?
fussy cats out there or whoever, we can put in a chicken flavoring or a beef flavoring. Yeah, if it's needed.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, do you have any case studies that spring to mind? I'm interested to hear about specific pet stories, and what issues they were dealing with, and how the CBD was used as part of their treatment plan, and what the outcomes were.
Yeah. Well, one that really sticks out was this old Labrador retriever. His name is Murphy. He was about 12 years old. At that stage of his life where he was just really slowing down, sleeping more than usual, not playful. He had arthritis, was in a bit of pain. Just that classic geriatric older dog with, a few things going on. CBD was added into his treatment plan. And after a few weeks, the girl who is his pet owner, she was saying when she came home from work, Murphy would go out to meet her at the car and would jump up in the car and jump up and was
Mm.
all excited to see her. Yeah. And something that she just hadn't experienced for years, and something she thought she'd never see him do again. And it
Yeah,
just brought her so much joy. Yeah. Yeah, it was really special. So I've heard of a lot of those type of cases, whether it's, they're in pain, um, or, anxiety cases as well. And the CBD just brings back kind of that sense of vitality and that like playfulness and more interaction, which is really nice to see. And like that obviously affects the pet and is, really improves their quality of life, but also really improves the family's, quality of life with their pet as well, which is amazing to see.
absolutely. And I mean, in addition to that, unlike traditional Western medications, you don't have the side effects. You're not putting additional pressure on the kidneys and the liver to metabolize, toxins in the body. It's something that's tolerated well, tends to be pretty gentle on the tummy. You're getting all of the benefits without those awful side effects that we all dreaded.
Yeah, so really well tolerated. The only thing that might be seen, is sometimes sleepiness at the higher doses, but then that can be, reduced back down. Same if there's any GI issues, that can be reduced back down. The dose can be reduced back down, as guided by the vet. But in general, really well tolerated. It can be used in almost all patients. So it's broken down by the liver. So if there's severe liver disease, it wouldn't be used in that patient. But if
Yep.
there's kidney issues, it's a really good option because it doesn't affect the kidneys at all, um, and can be used with almost any medication, any like traditional pharmaceutical. So really easy to add into traditional pharmaceutical treatment plans. And I've actually seen a lot of times that as the CBD dose is increased over time, the way it normally increases, the pharmaceutical doses can often be reduced. Not in every case, but very often. Um, and then, you're avoiding the side effects that may come with the pharmaceuticals. And then sometimes, in some cases, the pharmaceuticals can be discontinued and the pet might only need the CBD oil, which is amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
Mm.
Now tell us a little bit about the other supplements that you have available.
Yeah, so we have our Still and Calm, which is our calming supplement for dogs. So it has magnesium, chamomile, and L-tryptophan. And all the supplements can be used as meal toppers. So they're like in powder form, so can easily be added to the food. Then we have a joint support, Flex and Move. So that one has MSM, glucosamine, and green lipped mussel. So really good for the pet's joints. That one's available for dogs. And then we have our Ease and Flow, which is our digestion support, available for both cats and dogs with probiotics and prebiotics. And then we also have a fish oil for both cats and for dogs. And that also has added flaxseed oil. So really good for their skin and their coat, really nourishing. Um, and hopefully we'll
Absolutely.
more added to the range then in time to come. Yeah. But these
Eh,
are all designed by vets as well in Australia, and all Australian made. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you've recently moved into treats as well.
Treats as well. So we have our dog treats live already, and we have our cat treats coming next week. So really exciting. They're
Wow.
all, yeah, super clean, single proteins that have been air dried. So no filler, no preservatives, just
Fantastic.
really clean, good eating. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds fantastic, and it's a really good starting point as well. If someone has a younger dog, or perhaps if they're having issues, but maybe the symptoms are a little bit more mild, they don't necessarily need to jump straight to CBD. They can start um, with these supplements by adding them to their meals, and
Mm.
see how they go. And in many cases, that may be all they need. But if they need perhaps a little bit more support, then you're able to look at the options with the CBDs. You've sort of
Absolutely.
covered the whole gamut, haven't you?
Yeah, that was the aim. Yeah, and I guess prevention's better than cure. So, get the supplements in before there's any big issues there. And yeah, just really support the cats and dogs in whichever way you can. Like sometimes the supplements are enough and, good nutrition. And then sometimes the CBD oil is needed, and with or without the traditional pharmaceuticals. But your vet knows best. So yeah.
Just out of interest, what motivated you to move from the human side of things to supporting pets?
I've always loved animals. And then the crossover between that and medicinal cannabis, I just found super interesting. Um, and then once I learned and, delved into all the research and went down that rabbit hole, I just found it so, so fascinating. Um, so yeah, I'm really passionate about it now, and just seeing the effects and hearing the effects of pet parents using it in their animals is amazing. I have a few friends that use it in their pets, and just seeing the results firsthand it's really incredible. Yeah.
Excellent. So, for all our pet parents out there listening and watching, what jumps to mind when you think about something that you wish more pet parents knew or knew more about?
CBD oil is available.
Of course.
It's legal and available in Australia. Chat to your vet about it, have the conversation. Um, if they aren't familiar with it, if they haven't prescribed it before, it's not a problem. Just direct them to Kindred. There's heaps of free resources there for them in the vet hub. And we try to break it down and make it really simple and easy for them to be able to prescribe it. And if they've any questions along the way, I'm really happy to help. But it could be it's another tool for pet parents to have in their toolkit for their pets, and it works in a multitude of ways on a multitude of conditions. So just have that in the back of your mind. Yeah.
Excellent. So for anyone, pet parent or vet alike, wanting to find out more or to get in contact, how do they do that? What's your website?
Yeah. So our website is kindredcbd.com.au. So the pet parents can send us through an inquiry form there. We also have the journal, which has articles on various health conditions and how CBD can help them. So, for example, how CBD can help in the use of seizure management, how it can be used in atopic dermatitis in dogs, how it can be used in cancer cases, how it can be used in osteoarthritis, how it can be helpful in palliative care. So there's heaps of information there that's all science backed, and the research papers are referenced, but it's just there in an easy to digest sort of a way. So it's a good place for pet parents to start to learn about CBD. And then for vets, we have the Vet Hub. So it's free for them to register. And again, loads of resources there for them to learn about CBD prescribing.
Excellent. Very, very, very exciting stuff. That's definitely something I'll be keeping in my back pocket. If ever I need it for one of my babies.
Yeah.
kindredcbd.com.au if you need to find out more. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. Yeah, love to do it again in the new year when we're back from break.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Thanks so much, Sherry.